بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد, my brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, in our session on Tazkiyya wa Tarbiyya, we looked at the issues of Tawbah or Istighfar, and we looked at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy and great mercy, the like of which doesn't exist. The mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is such that it is all encompassing, there is nothing like it in creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy is more than we can ever imagine, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His mercy, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cover us with His mercy and His forgiveness, inshallah. Today I want to talk to you about, in the same context of Tazkiyya wa Tarbiyya, Hasan Basri rahmatullahi alayhi's description of a believer. And the idea of saying this is for us to reflect on this. Now, Hasan Basri rahmatullahi alayhi is one of the greatest of the Tabi'un. He was a student of Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu, and one of the greatest of the scholars of the Tabi'un. Abdullah bin Mubarak, Hasan Basri, all these people, Sufyan al-Thawri, rahmatullahi alayhim ajma'in, these are the great, among the greatest of scholars of this deen, and alhamdulillah, we are blessed to be able to take their names. Now, the writer says, we performed Salatul Jum'ah with Hasan Basri rahmatullahi alayhi. When we finished, we surrounded him and he began to weep excessively. We said, what is the matter? May Allah have mercy upon you. You have been granted the glad tidings of Jannah in your dreams. And this caused him to weep even more. And he said, how can I not cry? If any of the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam entered the door of this masjid, he would not recognize anything except this Qibla of ours. Now, subhanAllah, when I read these things, I reflect on myself, I reflect on our lives, I reflect on what we have made and accepted as our deen. That if Hasan Basri rahmatullahi alayhi is saying this, believe me, he's not speaking figuratively. He's not just saying it for to be politically correct, or he's not. He means that. He is somebody who is his sincerity is beyond doubt, beyond question, and he means every single word of what he's saying. And if in the time of the Tabi'een, looking at how they were, if Hasan Basri rahmatullahi alayhi can say something like this, that if one of the Sahaba of Rasulullah come in, and remember, Tabi'i is somebody who saw a Sahabi, or who spent time in the company of a Sahabi, or learned from a Sahabi. And Hasan Basri himself, radiallahu anhu, was one among them. As I mentioned, he was a student of, he studied under, he was in the Sohbah of Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu anhu. So he says, if one of them enters, if one of the Sahaba enters our masjid, this masjid, wherever they were praying, he says he will not recognize anything except the Qibla. Which means he will not recognize us as Muslims, he will not recognize our Salah, and he will probably look at the Salah and say, what kind of Salah is this? I mean, how do these people pray? How are these people dressed? How are these people behaving? Look at their akhlaq, look at the way they talk to each other, look at the way they recite Quran, whatever it is. Maybe he looks at the masjid and says, is this a masjid at all? I mean, what is this? Today we have masajid, subhanAllah. May Allah forgive us and protect us from ourselves. We have masajid which are worth $1 billion, worth more than $1 billion. Right? All the focus is on the decoration of the masjid. The most beautiful stone, the most beautiful carpets, the most beautiful chandeliers. Some of these carpets, the carpet is so intricate and so design is so amazingly complex that it is literally impossible to pray on this carpet, right? Because if you stand and pray on the carpet, if your eyes are open, then I have prayed in a masjid like this, and literally, I mean, it seems to me as if things are moving on this carpet, as if those designs, those things are moving. Completely distracts and destroys your salah. These are not in Islam. These are not permitted. These to build masajid like this and to have that kind of decoration is haram in Islam. But we do it. We do it with great pride, and we do it and we show off, and we say, Subhanallah, look at this masjid, look at that masjid. You know, the dome moves and this moves and that moves. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Our focus should have been on the quality of our salah. We should have been focused on what is the quality of my salah, what is the quality of the amal of this masjid, what is happening in this masjid, which durus are happening in this masjid, what kind of lessons are happening in this masjid, what kind of classes are being taken, who is teaching, who is learning, how are people benefiting from this, what kind of works of a charitable nature are happening in this masjid. How is this masjid beneficial to the society in which it exists, in the neighborhood in which it exists? If we go to the houses of the neighbors of the masjid, whether they are Muslim or non-Muslim, and ask them about the masjid, are we going to hear complimentary things, or are we going to hear critical things and derogatory things? Right? I mean, this is what we should have been focused on. Instead of that, we are focused on the decoration of the masjid and the color of the carpet and what chandelier and this and this. La hawla la quwwata illa billah. So Hasan Basri rahmatullah says that if one of the Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam radiyallahu anhum, if one of them entered this masjid, the door of this masjid, he will not recognize anything except this qibla of ours. Then he said, "Oh, lengthy ambitions have destroyed the people. It is merely words with no action, recognition with no patience, and iman without any conviction. Why is it that I see men but no intellect? I hear faint voices, but I do not see anyone with courtesy." Look at these. Each one of these words is something that we need to sit and reflect upon. And not by reflecting, I don't mean we make tafsira and we make comments on, oh, but in our masjid so and so, look at that one. I'm talking about myself. I need to look at this, you need to look at it. Sit and say, he's saying, Hasan Basri rahmatullah, lengthy ambitions have destroyed the people. Ask ourselves, what are our ambitions? What do we aspire for? What do we aspire for? In that whole list of things that we have written for ourselves, is Jannah anywhere there? Is the Rida of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anywhere there? Is it even there in the list? In the list of ambitions that I make for myself, is that even there? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be pleased with me. I'm not even talking about making the effort. I'm saying, is it even in the list? If I write my ambitions, what is my ambition? My ambition is to become the greatest, blah, blah, whatnot. Is my ambition to get Jannah? Seriously, the point I'm saying is, if I tell you my ambition is to become a cardiac surgeon, then you will ask me, okay, are you in medical school? No, I'm not in medical. Okay, so are you planning to go to medical school? Well, yeah, but I'm not sure when. So does it look like this is my ambition? If my ambition is to fly a plane, then same questions. Do you have a pilot's license? No. Are you planning to get one? Yeah, but when? Where? Oh, I haven't decided. So then your ambition is not to fly a plane, your ambition is to see others flying planes. So is your ambition to go to Jannah? Or is your ambition to see others going to Jannah? This is a question I need to ask myself. This is a question you should ask yourself, not other people. Lengthy ambitions have destroyed the people. Which kind of lengthy ambitions? Lengthy ambitions about this world and about this life, which is not lengthy at all. Yawman aw ba'da yawm, maybe half a day, maybe one day, maybe part of a day, the blink of an eye. Hmm? My brothers and sisters, seriously, we have to ask ourselves this question. The dinosaurs lived in this world for over 200 million years. And today, there are only fossils of those. 66 million years ago, the earth was hit by an asteroid and it completely wiped out all of that life. Things that existed for 200 million years, believe me, they didn't exist for that long by being unsuccessful. They were among the most successful of creatures in an ecological way of thinking and speaking. But gone. 200 million years of life wiped out completely without a trace. What do you think will happen to me and you? So what is this lengthy ambition? We need to ask ourselves. Seriously, I'm telling you this Tazkiyya and Tarbiyya, course or seminar, whatever you want to call it. It is all about you not just watching this video. It's about watching the video, listening to what I'm saying, and then going and doing it yourself in your homes. Think about, plan about, reflect on. And then he says it is merely words with no action. People have lengthy ambitions. But where is the ambition? Where is the action to reach that ambition? Right? Recognition with no patience. We recognize the importance of something, but we don't have the patience to practice. And Iman without any conviction. We have Iman, but our heart is also filled with fear. We say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is my Razaq, and then I'm worried about my belly. I'm worried about how I'm going to fill my belly. I'm worried about my family. I'm worried about this, worried about that. What kind of Iman is this? And then he says, I see men with no intellect. I see men but no intellect. What is the sign of intellect? Of intelligence? People who do not believe in superstition. People who don't just practice things which their ancestors did. Behaving with intelligence is what is required. Right? Now, I'm not talking about IQ scores. And he says, I hear voices but no courtesy. Our akhlaq. At the end of the day, who is an alim? An alim is the one whose ilm is visible in his akhlaq. إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, verily, among the people, those who have the khashyat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their hearts, they are the ulama. They are the scholars, the real scholars. Do we have this khashyat? Do we have this awe and majesty and glory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our hearts? Or do we just talk about it? And then he said, by Allah, people entered, then left the deen. They recognized, and then they refuted. They deemed haram, and then considered it halal. Your deen is a mere smear on your tongues. Hasan Basri Rahmatullah is saying that this is the nature of people, what people have done. One day they know something is haram, but then they do it. Today what's happening with interest-based borrowing in our lives? How many thousand times have we heard this thing? Do not borrow on interest because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared war on the one who does that. We hear this ayat again and again and again. We don't change. Tell me, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting to see Malakul Maut before you change? And you know what that means, right? When you see Malakul Maut, that's it. End of the story. There's no time to change then. Are you waiting for that day? So when are you going to change? How many thousand times must I say this thing? Get out of all interest-based dealings. Get out of telling lies. Get out of giving bribes. And don't tell me in this business, that business. If there is a business in which you have to necessarily indulge in haram, that business has no business to have you in that business. That business is not for you. If in fact it is true. And you know it is not true. If in fact it is true, get out. Become members of clubs which are established for the perpetration of haram. They have bars, they have card rooms, they have gambling rooms, they have drinking and dancing, and you are a member, and your subscription is paying for that. And you want to argue about this. How about this, how about that, how about the other? I've told you 1,000 times, establish a halal club. No problem. But you insist on belonging to those clubs. Write in your will that when you die, let them put that subscription paper of the club and your membership card in your cover with you. When are you going to understand? Please. If we are not going to change our company, we cannot change ourselves. As simple as that. Please understand this. Get this through into your skull. If you cannot change your company, you cannot change yourself. Your company will mold you, will turn you, will force you. And that's why Imam Hassan Basri Rahmatullah is saying, people entered and then left the deen. They recognized and then they refuted. They recognized Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's greatness and majesty. Then they did actions which amount to the refutation of that. They deemed haram and then they considered it halal. And he said, your deen is merely a smear on your tongue. You only say, I am Muslim, nothing else. And he's saying this to Tabi'in. And they asked him, when asked, are you a believer in the day of recompense? The day of judgment. He says, yes, but he lied by the owner of the day of judgment. He's saying that when we are asked, do you believe in the day of judgment? We say, yes, of course. But he's saying, you are lying when you say that. And he's swearing, he says, by the owner of the day of judgment, you are a liar. When you say that you believe in the day of judgment. Why is he saying that? Because if I believe in the day of judgment, then what in my life reflects this belief? If somebody is looking at my life, are they seeing a sign in my life, one single sign somewhere, to say that yes, this man believes in the day of judgment. He believes that he will be held accountable. He believes that Allah will call him to question. He believes in the nar and the garden. He believes in the hell and heaven and Jannah. He believes in the hisab. He believes in the mizan. He believes that his deeds are going to be weighed. Where is this in our life? This belief, our claim that we believe these things, where is this claim visible in our lives? If I believe it is going to rain, I will carry an umbrella. That umbrella is evidence and proof that I believe that it is going to rain. So where is that umbrella in my life? Which is proof and evidence that I believe in the day of judgment. Then he mentioned key elements of the character of the believer. And he said, 1. Strength in deen. 2. Determination in gentleness. 3. Conviction in iman. 4. Knowledge in forbearance, in being patient. Number 5. Forbearance with knowledge. Number 6. Intelligence in kindness. Number 7. Self-adornment in hunger. And number 8. Justice in steadfastness. Now if you look at all of these, one by one, let us see, try to understand what it is that is being said here. Strength in deen, right? So strength in deen is expressed how? By our practice of deen. By our practice of deen. How serious am I about practicing Islam? This is the strength in deen. Determination in gentleness, meaning by gentle it doesn't mean that you leave your principles. You are firm on your principles. But when you are firm on your principles, sometimes we become harsh. He's saying no. The firmness is with gentleness. Conviction in Iman. I have Iman and I have this Iman with complete and total conviction. There's no doubt in my mind about this. Knowledge in forbearance. So the sabr that they do is with knowledge, is with the understanding of the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then intelligence in kindness. What does that mean? It means that sometimes you have to criticize somebody, you have to correct somebody, and that is a kindness. Not to do that would be unkind, because you would allow that person to make a mistake which is harmful for them. And that is the intelligence which is being expressed in kindness. Self-adornment in hunger is, if you are poor, if you are hungry, you do not ask. You have sabr. You ask only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And justice in steadfastness. That is when we are strong in our belief, but we do that with justice. He continued, he is not unjust to whom he hates, nor is he sinful in assisting who he loves. Now, see these beautiful words of wisdom. Many times if we do not like somebody, then we will either be unjust to them or we'll allow injustice to happen to them. We don't care because we don't like the person. We also don't listen to that person. Even if that person is saying something good, we will not listen to them because we don't like them. This happened with people in the case of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as well. Those who hated him, they did not take his guidance, even though they knew that what he was saying was correct. And Hasan Basri Rahmatullah is saying this. The opposite also is true, which is that if you like somebody, then you will let things happen. Right? For example, you might say that ostentatious spending, which many of us do, especially in weddings and so on and so forth. Ostentatious spending, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the one who is ostentatious, he is from the, he is min ikhwani shayateen, they are the brothers of shaitan. Innal mubaddirina kanu ikhwana shayateen. The spendthrifts and ostentatious people are surely the brothers of shaitan. But what do we do? If there is somebody we don't like and that person is spending ostentatiously, we very, very vociferously criticize them. But if somebody who is close to us does the same thing, we keep quiet. We will go and attend that party. Now this is a gross injustice that we are doing to both. And that is what Hasan Basri Rahmatullah is talking about. Then he says he does not slander, he does not calumniate or criticize. He does not speak in vain, nor is he involved in amusement and play. Now these are people of a standing that we can only marvel at. Now, Hasan Basri is even, Rahmatullah is even criticizing playing and amusement. He's saying don't even do that. Entertainment, whatnot, laughing, joking here and there, going and playing. I imagine what he would say about all our soccer matches and cricket matches. But the point here being that he's saying, who are these people? He says, number one, of course, they don't do sin. So slandering, backbiting, maligning, all that kind of stuff, definitely they don't do. But even the things which may not be open sins, but useless talk, always being surrounded by people, always talking all the time, right? Games and plays. Today, games and sports are careers. You stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what did you do? Allah, I kicked a ball around a court. I kicked a ball from this goal to that goal. That is why you were sent into this world, to kick a ball around. Or to throw a ball in a hoop. Huh? Purpose of life is to play a game, is it? This is what Hasan Basri Rahmatullah is saying. Today we have gone so far away from living a purposeful life that even to speak like this, people will criticize. They will say, oh, but then there is no fun in life, blah, blah, blah. Why is there no fun in life? Who told you that to live a purposeful life is miserable and it is horrible and there is no fun in it? Who told you that? The greatest, most fun thing in the world is to live a purposeful life and to see your purpose opening up like flowers in front of you. There's nothing more beautiful than that. Rather than just, pointlessly days just passing. सुबह होती है, शाम होती है, क्या है वो शेर? इसी तरह जिंदगी तमाम होती है. Morning, evening, life is gone. What did you achieve? Nothing. Why? Because I never intended to achieve anything. I never had a goal. How useful is that? Then he said, he does not carry tales, nor does he delve into that which does not concern him. See, all of these things are pointing to a very important thing, which is a single-minded focus with a single-minded goal. And that goal, in this case, is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whatever I do will be focused to that. Nothing else. So I don't waste my time. I don't waste my time. To carry tales, I first have to go and listen to some tale. And then I take it to some other place. No, we don't have time for all this. Right? And going into things that don't concern you. You can't do anything about it, you can't change it, but you just simply gossip. Then he says he does not refute any right upon him, nor does he exaggerate in providing excuses. He's talking about delivery, he's talking about quality, he's talking about commitment, he's talking about consistency. Right? Today we have the words. But do we do that? Or are we among those who are distinguished by the fact that we don't do all this, that we are not committed, we are not consistent. And then he says he does not exaggerate in providing excuses. So we make excuses. You are supposed to deliver something, you are supposed to do something consistently, you don't do that, and then you have a long excuse. Oh, this happened, that happened, falana, dhikana. Sky fell on my head, the cow jumped over the moon. So first I have to suffer your not delivering, and then I have to listen to a nonsensical excuse. Adding insult to injury kind of thing. Then he says he does not become pleased with a calamity that befalls another, nor is he joyous of a sin that descends upon someone. You don't like somebody and that fellow's car has an accident and you feel happy about it. Achha wa. How evil we have become. Just think about that. He says a believer is somebody who does not rejoice in someone else's difficulty or someone else's calamity. Even if he can't help him, he is not happy that this happened to that person. A believer is submissive in his salah and is one who hastens to bow in ruku. He's talking about his quality of his salah. I think with this one I am going to end for today. Let us think about these qualities that Hasan Basri Rahmatullah talked about. He's talking about sincerity, he's talking about humility, he's talking about kindness, he's talking about truthfulness, he's talking about consistency, he's talking about quality, he's talking about about commitment. He's talking about dignity. He's talking about not indulging in things which are pointless, useless, waste of time, not harming anybody in any way whatsoever, either with our tongue or with our hands. And the last point that I mentioned was about his salah, the quality of his salah. He said is submissive. In the salah, he is consciously, his khushu, he's praying before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's standing there with this, you can see from his position, from the look on his face, that he is connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing in the world exists for him, everything is gone. It's like Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha, she said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be with us and he would be, engaged and laughing with us and so on. And as soon as he heard the adhan, Allahu Akbar, it would be as if he does not know us. It would be as if we are strangers to him. Completely his face would change. A curtain would drop on his face. This was the quality of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable us to learn from all this and to bring these changes into our lives. Because the day will come, my brothers and sisters, when we will stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And on that day, the only thing that will matter is a qalbun salim, is the kind of heart we bring to Allah. And that's why it's very important for us to work on that heart and ensure that that heart is something which is worth taking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala jalla jalaluhu. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyil kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.